it's Luann Pygott, Beauty Guide with Lime Life by Alcone, but I'm not doing anything Beauty Guide right now. I'm cooking. I am finishing up Sunday dinner. I'm technically on kind of vacation today, so I'm not at church today. Well, I've been doing virtual church anyway, but I'm technically on Lime Life's annual convention called Palooza. But they couldn't do it in person this year. It was going to be in Orlando, but we had to switch it to virtual. So here we are. I am here at home, and I can watch the videos, the convention videos, whenever I want. So what I'm doing is I am getting some water to boil. I am making squash Alabama and Mexican stuffed shells. Now the Mexican stuffed shells I made before, but it's been a little while, and I'm modifying the recipe just a tiny bit here. And I'm also making, this is a Brenda Gant recipe. My cousin told me about her, and I started watching her, and she made this squash casserole. Now, in the family, we have a squash casserole recipe. It's really good. This is a different one. I'm going to try a different one, so here we go. So, I am going to, and I am cutting this down, but I'm going to tell you it takes 2 to 2.5 pounds of yellow squash, and to do like half of that, which is what I'm doing, is like 2 gigantic squash. So, you're going to need, from what I can tell from her recipe, you need like 4 to 5 big squash. That's if they're big, just 2.5 pounds. So this is the ones. Let me wash these real fast. Now in the recipe that she does, she boils the squash. And I'm not going to boil the squash because I like to saute it. I think it gives it more flavor. And then you have to saute some onions and peppers anyway, so you might as well saute the squash too. So let's see what we're going to do. I also need an egg. Let me get that out. And I know I need some butter. Trying to find on here, does it tell me how much butter? Let's see. Cheese. Oh, okay, so I need 2 tablespoons. Oh, you'll need 4 tablespoons of butter, half a stick of butter. And I'm going to put that in this pan over here. And start our butter melting. So this is, I think it's interesting. It's just a little different casserole than one that I've had. So I thought that would be fun. So it's not the same thing, same old thing. Even though I love that same old thing. Okay, so we're going to cook some onions. Some onions and green pepper. Now I'm using, because this is what she used, it's a cubano pepper. But you can use a regular green pepper. And she doesn't have a measurement for the onions and pepper. So just cut up some onions and pepper. How much you like. And I have to start a new onion here. I'm going to cut and peel this onion. And then we'll just, I'm just going to whack at the onion. Now I also need a 1/4 cup of onion for my other dish, so I'm going to cut some more for that as well, since I'm cutting the onion. I will confess, I do prefer when they tell you how much. When it's a new recipe. I'm peeling off this outer layer of onion too, because it's kind of dried at the top. So I'm just getting rid of that. And sometimes the outer part of the onion kind of gets old. And I'm going to pick all that up, to throw it out. I don't like to take onion and put it right in the trash, because it makes your kitchen smell like onion. So I usually keep the trash of the onion in like a bag in the refrigerator, and then when it's trash day I throw it out. I do that with a lot of scraps, only I put them in the freezer. But I found if you put the onion residue, the peel and stuff of the onion in the freezer, then you have a freezer that smells like onion. But if I put it in the refrigerator, it's fine. Put it in the refrigerator so it doesn't make your garbage smell. Works. Okay, so then let's start It's kind of brown here in the center here. Let me get that little center out. I don't want any mysterious brown pieces of onion. Kind of strange. Okay, there we go. Oh, it looks like it's brown a little ways down in there. We can cut some more out. This onion must have seen better days. Okay, there we go. We got the bad part off. Oh, now my water is boiling, so I'm going to put, the full recipe would be 8 ounces of noodles. Just for me and Mom, I cut almost everything in half. And these noodles right here are sticking together. Look at that. They're not going to let loose. Well, I'll have to boil them together and then they'll come loose after. Okay, so I'm putting them in there. And I'm going to set that for 10 minutes. Those are those jumbo pasta shells. And that's what we're going to stuff. That's what we're going to stuff for the Mexican pasta shells. So I'm just going to like hash mark the onion. Go one direction. My throat is not, I haven't been talking today. There's nobody to talk to, so I haven't been talking. Now that I'm trying to talk, my throat is like, okay, I'm gonna junk up your throat. Okay, so there we go. That piece fell off, so I'm just going to cut that up. Get into pieces. Now I got my butter melting over there in the pan. Oops, get back here. And I just slice it down. There you go. Bunch of onion. So let's take let me find the little thing here. Let's take a 1/4 cup of it for my other recipe. And then we'll take this. And like I say, I don't know how much onion, however much you want. Probably for the full recipe, you know, like half an onion or something. I do like a lot of onion. So if you don't like, you could leave onion out if you don't like the onion. If you don't like a lot of onion, just put a little. Alright. Okay, then I'm going to go ahead and put this. Oh, my butter's browning. Oh dear. That's too hot. Hold on. I don't want brown butter. Let's try that again. It was on too high for too long. That's okay, we'll just start over. I'm sitting here reading a recipe. That's what's taking my attention. Alright, so we're going to put, you would put half a stick of butter in here for the full recipe. But try not to let it brown. Alright, so then we're going to put our onion in there. Let me get it moved around here first. Now I've got it turned down now. I had it up too high. Okay. Then we're going to chop up our pepper. And then we're going to put our squash in there. And like I said, she doesn't do that. She boils the squash. But to me, that kind of boils out some of the flavor. And if you cook the squash in butter, I think it's so much better. And you can cut this however big or little you want. Like I said, you could use a regular old green pepper, you know, bell pepper. Let me get the stem out of here. This is a piece I had left over from last time I needed pepper. I put it in my other casserole too. Get out this little stem with the seeds. I'll just put that in my bag with the onion skin. Oh, there's a little bit more in here. Hold on. So I suppose somebody from Alabama must have come up with this recipe. That's why it's called Squash Alabama. This is a little similar. Maybe it's exactly what we eat. I've never actually even made that other recipe that we have in the family. but it's really good. I think it uses cream of mushroom soup or something, though. This doesn't. Oops. Wanting to escape. Wanting to escape. See, look at that. Get over here. So I'm just cutting up, this is like half that pepper, but you would do, I would do the whole pepper for the full recipe. But I'm just cutting up, I have half of it left for half the recipe. Perfect. Alright, there we go. Then I'll put that in there with the onion. Then I'm going to cut up a squash, which I have already washed. Cut up the squash and put that in there. Cut off the ends and then just slice it however you want. I have a tendency to slice it a little thick. I don't mind there being some body to the squash, but you can do it real thin if you like. I prefer squash that has, see how this, I don't know if you can tell, just a little bit of green around here. If you get the real dark yellow ones, they're tough. Okay, let's put this in here. Another thing I do with squash, now she tells you to add salt and pepper to the casserole, but I like to add salt and pepper to squash as it's cooking too. So, whoop, too big. Getting ahead of myself. Okay. Put that in there to cook. That's 2, well, you'll need 4 to 5 for a full-size recipe. That's 2 in mine. All my scraps here in my little scrap bag. Okay, let's see. Then we're going to cook those. I am going to add salt and pepper. Not anything I'm measuring. Just I get enough pepper where it covers the squash a little bit. Okay, and then salt. Like half a teaspoon of salt or a teaspoon or something. There we go. Knocking stuff down. Okay, so then I'm going to do, I'm going to let that sit there and simmer. Stir it some. So right now I've got all the onions and peppers at the bottom. I want the squash down there too. But you can boil the squash. Seriously, I cannot talk today. I need some hot tea. But you can boil the squash if you want. That's what she does in the recipe. Some of these are sticking together. There. I'm going to cover that. Okay, so then what we're going to do with that is we're just going to add a few ingredients. It won't be too much. Okay, so let's go to our other recipe. So we're going to start with our hamburger. I'm going to put a little coconut oil in the pan. Just to have something at the bottom. And I'm going to cook, you would cook a pound of hamburger. I always use ground chuck anytime it calls for hamburger. Hi Karen, how are you doing? I've been looking at my phone. How are you doing? I'm making Sunday dinner, making what's a casserole called Squash Alabama, and I'm making the Mexican stuffed shells again. I made them before, but I'm going to modify the recipe just a little bit. It needed more sauce, and I thought it would be good if you put some of the sauce in with the meat mixture, so I'm going to try that. We're going to see how that works. So there we go. Got in the pan. Alright, let me get my little chopper. I love this chopper. This little chopper for hamburger. It does it so fast because it like cuts it in 4 directions at once. It breaks up the meat real well. My pasta is almost done. Chop, chop, chop. There we go. Get it knocked all off of that. There we go. Okay, so then we're also going to add onion. We need some taco seasoning, which I have some left over from last time of that. Then it needs half a block of cream cheese, which I have that left over from last time too. What makes it good and creamy is that cream cheese. Oh, look there, my pasta is done. Turn off my timer. I think I'm going to put some, it doesn't tell you to, but I'm going to put some little salt and pepper in this hamburger too. While it's cooking. I don't want too much salt because I know that taco seasoning has salt. I want a little bit. Let's go ahead and use a spoon for that. Wooden spoon. It's actually a bamboo spoon. You know, I love these bamboo spoons. They're so much better than the old wooden ones. Those wooden ones, they get scrungy in after a while. These bamboo spoons, they last so much better. It's amazing to me that bamboo, which is a grass and it grows like weeds, is strong. They say stronger than wood. That's crazy to me. Because if you ever see bamboo in the growing, it's real flexible and it bends and it doesn't seem very strong. But when they make stuff with bamboo, they say it's actually stronger than wood. Like, that's crazy. Oh, how am I doing? I am doing pretty good. I am doing Palooza, Lime Life Palooza. I'm watching the videos and stuff today, yesterday and today. Yesterday was so good. I don't know if you saw, but we now have waterproof mascara. That's our brand new product. Waterproof mascara. So I'm going to take the shells. I drained them. And since I don't need them yet, and I don't want them to get dry, I'm going to put them back in the pan of cold water. So I'm going to just keep them in water, but I'm not keeping them in the hot water because I don't want them to keep cooking. So I'm just putting some cold water in the pan, let the shells sit in there until I'm ready for them. Let's check our squash. Well, that has really slowed down. Let's turn that up a little bit. It's just sitting there like, da-da-da, not doing much. We're almost done cooking the hamburger. Just about done. Need to put that onion in a bag. Oh look, I have no Ziploc bags that size. Okay. What size? Oh, that was a teeny weeny. I didn't need that one anyway. Let me put my onion back up. Okay, let me get my cream cheese ready. Because I only need half this cream cheese since I'm doing half casserole. Cut that in half. Okay. Let's see how that's doing. It's weird how like the foil, you cut through it, get the gray color gets on the cream cheese. It's like, ooh, just from the foil. But I don't want to eat that. Okay, so I'd say our hamburger is done. Let me drain the hamburger. There's not much in it actually, and that's pretty good. So then I'm going to put a little bit more coconut oil back in there because that's not a bad oil. Got off the hamburger oil, but then we put a little of that in there, and then I'm going to put this onion in there and saute it. Like kind of on the side of the pan because the hamburger's done. So see, I like put the onion because it's not much onion. I don't need much onion. Here, we'll just do that. I've got it pretty high though. Let me turn the lid down. We're going to have a little issue. Actually, I need to turn on my vent, which will be noisy. Alright, let's make sure I'm doing this right here. I'm going to add the taco seasoning as next. So you need 2 tablespoons of taco seasoning. Got to find my tablespoon measure. Make sure we get this onion softened. And both of these dishes cook at 350. That's handy. Squash is doing pretty well there. Okay, so let's mix that back together. Then you would put in 2 tablespoons. Let me get that where you can. There you go. Taco seasoning. Where'd I just put it? Oh, here it is. I need to move it. Okay, add the taco seasoning. And you can use whatever kind you want. This is just, what is this? Old El Paso Original. If you want it spicier, I'm going to put a little medium salsa in it so it will have a little spice, but I don't want to make it too spicy for Mom. I'm going to tear up her stomach. There is our taco seasoning. That smells so good. Let me turn that down now. Okay, after we put the taco seasoning, we're going to mix in the cream cheese and we're going to stir it till the cream cheese is melted. Okay, put the cream cheese in. I'm going to make sure that gets down to the bottom of the pan to melt. Break it up a little here. It'll melt faster, I don't know. Alright, so I'm going to let that sit there a minute. While we do that, I think we can move on with the squash. So we're going to mix in with the squash. I'm going to turn this off. Is it done? Yeah, that's soft. Okay, so let's move the squash off of the heat. That's over there. Now, it tells me to do, I guess I really need to mix this in a bowl. So let me get a bowl. And we're going to add, you just mix all this stuff together. So it needs an egg, so I'm going to put an egg in here. You need 2 eggs for the full recipe. We're going to scramble up the egg. This will bind it together, you know, get it to hold together. And then you're going to need a cup of mayonnaise. Got a brand new mayonnaise. My mayonnaise had been out of date. I noticed, I'm like, oh, look at there, out of date mayonnaise. So I got brand new mayonnaise. I'm looking for half a cup measure and I don't see it, so that's okay. We'll use a 1/4 cup 2 times. Okay. And then, you know, I'm making halves of it. Normally you're going to put a full cup of mayonnaise. So this is, I don't think the one we have in the family, I don't think it uses mayonnaise. I've never actually even made that one. I don't know why. Somehow I've never gotten a hold of that recipe. I need to get that recipe because it's good too. Well, let's see what this one's like. It doesn't, I don't think it has peppers in it. Like this one. Okay, there's that. Let's mix that together. Then, let me see how my cream cheese is doing here. Hold on. Cream cheese is just sitting there like a lump. Oh, it is. I can squish it though. I probably need to turn that off so it doesn't dry out. It's pretty well melted. Just kind of getting it spread around evenly here. I'm not a good cameraman. I need an assistant. Who wants to be a camera assistant? Okay, so that's good. So I want to put that off the heat and finish cooking this. Okay, so then I need 2 cups of shredded cheddar cheese. And it doesn't really tell you how to mix it. It just says put everything together. So, here we go. I'm just doing it my way. And then we're going to put the other stuff in. A little salt and pepper. Doesn't tell you how much, so, you know. Like I say, I do wish recipes would tell you how much salt and pepper so you could have an idea. But it doesn't. So I'm just going to put some in my hand. Sprinkle it around. Cheese will be a little salty. So it's got a little in there. Then you're going to add all of this in here. Squash the peppers and the onion and the butter. Mix it up. Put it in a casserole dish. That's going to be good. The one we make in the family, I don't think it has a name. It's just squash casserole. Alright, so there we have it. And then all you're going to do is top that with Ritz crackers. So find you a pan that'll fit in. Pour it in. I don't think you have to grease this one. Some of that off of there. There we go. Spread it around. Now she shows, when she does this recipe, how she crushes the Ritz crackers. It's amazing. She leaves it in the sleeve, and she just presses down on the top of the sleeve and smashes them before she even opens them. But I only need half a sleeve, since I'm doing half the recipe. So you're going to need 1 sleeve of Ritz crackers. So I'm going to have to take them out to get half of them. So I get this box open. Here we go. Okay, so let's do, I guess you could always just have extra. Let's take half of these crackers out of here. Oh, there's where that went. I'm losing stuff in my drawer here. Where'd it go? There. No, that wasn't it. Oh, I can find it later. Okay, so let's take half of these crackers. Get them out of there. So I'm going to put them in another. I'm going to put them in another plastic baggie. It's only 1/2. Okay, here's what she does. Take the whole stack of them and just push down real hard and smash them. And she says it crumbles them perfectly. Look at that. Oh, it did. And you have real fine little crackers. And it takes a second. Okay, so then we're going to put them on our casserole dish here. Sprinkle them. I think she puts them at the beginning. Oh no, she says she puts them near the end. Okay, well, we'll have a few on there. She puts them in the last 20 minutes of baking. Oh, after 20 minutes. Put it in for 20 minutes, then put the crackers on at the last. You bake it for a total of 35. So the last 15 minutes. Okay, that's fine. So 350. So we'll have a few that are extra crispy. That's perfectly fine. Okay, let's move this out of the way. I think a lot of people put that on before they bake them. So now let's get our other recipe. Okay, after we've done, we are at the point where we have cooked and melted the cheese. Okay, so then we're going to add, you're going to mix, where is this at? Combine the salsa and the enchilada sauce. Yeah, that's where I'm at. Now this is where I'm doubling this. So, you will want 2 cans of enchilada sauce and 2 cups of salsa, unless you don't want much sauce. And I just don't think it's good without much sauce. Okay. Let me just combine it in the bowl. Okay, here, I'm using medium salsa. I was just getting Publix brand, but they were out. All during this COVID quarantine, y'all eating Mexican food, you bought all the salsa. Okay. So you want 2 cans of, now I'm using the mild, well maybe I am. There we go. Doesn't want to open. I'm using the mild enchilada sauce, but you use whatever you want. Put that in there. Now you're going to use 2 cans for the full recipe, unless you don't want much sauce. And then I'm going to open up the salsa and you're going to use 2 cups of that. I'm going to use 1. Like I say, this is where I get a little heat in there. This is the medium. So we do like a little bit of spice in there. I would like it real spicy, but it'd be too much for Mom, so I don't do that. Okay, now here's also, let me get another spoon here, where I'm going to differ from the recipe. I think the meat mixture is just a little tiny bit dry. So I am going to put a little of this salsa in here, or the sauce mix. And what did I mark that I was going to do? I wrote it down. Add 1/4 of it. Okay, that's like probably half a cup. Or it'd be a cup if you're making the whole thing. Just add some sauce in this meat till you like it. Okay, there we go. So let's try that much. That'll need more than that. So that would be the equivalent of about a cup for the full recipe. And then stir that around. So this is going to be a little moister. I just thought it was a little dry, but it wasn't too bad. But, you know, it would have more flavor if it had that in there. Okay. So now I need a different spoon. Going through every spoon in the house I have right now. Also got mayonnaise on the outside of the jar somehow. Okay, so then you're going to stuff. Okay, first you're going to take your pan. Now you would use a bigger pan than this for full size. And I did not need to grease it. Put a little sauce in the bottom. Now I found I don't really want that much in the bottom, just barely, because I want it on top so they don't dry out. Just a little on the bottom so they don't stick. Okay, there you go. Now, we're going to stuff our shells and lay them in there. Let's make sure I haven't forgotten anything. No, I didn't. Okay. So let me drain my shells. Alright. So you're going to take a shell. Now, if you would rather not stuff shells, you could probably just buy miniature shells and just mix it all in the pan. Okay, so then you're going to take like a tablespoon of the meat mixture. Oh, see, that looks so much better with the sauce in it to me. And you're going to put that in the shell and lay it in the pan. Very easy. It takes a few minutes. Oops. And they're slippery. That one just escaped. They're so slippery today because I had them in the water, so they're not dried out at all. try to put like a tablespoon of the meat into your shell. It's hard to get one of the sides to stick open usually. They resist, these shells. They like to resist. Don't know why. Okay. And you just lay them. They're really good. Lay them in there. Try to get your meat to fit. Now this one's split, but you know what? It does not matter. Just put it in there anyway. Doesn't need a perfect shell. It'll all be in the pan, you know, so if it comes apart, it's in. Just scrape it up. Okay. Trying not to run out of meat before I run out of shell. Last time I did. I guess I was stuffing them really full. Alright, come on. Quit slipping. See this side over here? It does not want to open. But I got like 3 shells left. Okay, I think we can make that work. Alright, 1. Yep, you're gonna make it happen. 2. Come on, side. Open. Just take your thumb and make it come out too. Last shell. The good thing about this is if you're just making it for a small number of people, it doesn't really take that long to do. It's just like half. Okay, get in there. Look how it fits in that pan. Yay! Scrape in this pan. I don't want to waste any of that. That one didn't have as much in it. Let's put it in there. They're yummy. Now the last time I made this, I did notice there was a mistake in this recipe. And the way I found it is I looked the recipe up again because I wanted to save it and print it. And I found the same recipe on another site and realized the recipe I had said 1/4 cup of cheese. And it's actually supposed to be 1 1/4 cup of cheese. So, now I have the right amount of cheese. I knew it didn't seem like much cheese and I had added more. But now I know it was like a typo on that recipe. I don't know who did that, but they boo-booed. Okay, so I got the... So now we're going to fill the shells. We did that. Repeat. Pour remaining sauce. Okay, you do the remaining sauce. And you're not going to put the cheese on until after it's baked for a while. So I'm putting all the rest of the sauce on top. You just pour over the shells. Now see, this is what I did last time. I didn't really have much sauce, and so the shells kind of dried out a little bit. But see, now I have double the sauce. Oh, yeah. This salsa has more chunks in it than the other brand I had. Actually, don't like gigantic chunks as well, but I'm sure it'll be fine. Okay, there we go. Trying to get all of it like covered as much as I can. So hopefully we don't dry out. Then you cover it in foil, and you're going to bake this at 350. Let's see, you're going to bake it at 350 for 30 minutes. Then you're going to top with cheese. I would put the foil on again so it doesn't dry out the shells. And another 15 minutes. And then the squash casserole gets baked for 20 minutes. Take it out, put the crumbs on top of it, and bake it for 15 more. Everything at 350. So there we go. That is all we're doing for today because it's got to go in the oven. And I will show you the finished product. I hope you have a good day and try out the recipes and see if you like them. Bye!